Hello and welcome to the Dinosaw for week 40, another 7 curious, interesting things I saw last week. So as ever, let's crack on. The first one is completely bonkers and it's worth trying to explain this one. So this is how to recover audio from static digital images. So if you didn't know, probably in your phone you've got one of these little doodads, and what it does is it's optical image stabilization. So as you move your phone, the little mechanism tries to move the opposite way to stabilize the image. Now, the audio that is actually in the room are sound vibrations, and they can cause very small vibrations in these mechanisms. And as they're taking the picture, those little vibrations, those extra vibrations, can get caught in the data of the image. So if you can then reprocess those out, you can turn it back into audio. So that's a little bit bonkers, but it gets a little bit weirder than that. You can actually use this device, or you can attack this device using resonant sounds as well. So you can make it hum. For instance, self-driving cars, you can point this at a self-driving car and it will then start to sort of badly register what the images are actually seeing and potentially cause issues with the car itself. So if you didn't know, that's actually a thing. Thank you to Cambridge Mechatronics, by the way, for this video of how one of these things works. Brilliant. There you go. The second one is Meta have launched celeb social profiles. So these have sort of been out before, but they've now got 28 characters. These are all actual people. So they've got Snoop Dogg, they've got Naomi Osaka, they've got Paris Hilton, Mr. Beast, etc. And each one of those celebs, real life celebrities, represents in which case a manga master, or maybe they're a sports coach, or they're a big sis, or whatever it might need to be, or a golf guru. So if you want one of these personalities, they are trained on these real people, so they have the personality of those real people, but you can then speak to them and add them in Instagram or Facebook indeed. So there you go. If you want one of those, there are 28 of them coming to social near you soon. Gaussian splatting is what all the cool kids are using these days to render things. Now, Gaussian splatting, I've tried to make a very simple version of it here. It's basically if you're mixing a point cloud. So if you imagine a scene made out of lots of dots in space, but what you can do is each one of those dots you can turn into a kind of a splatty blob. Therefore, if you look through all the splatty blobs in the right way, then those splatty blobs make the image look as beautiful as it is. So it's a really interesting way of rendering scenes very quickly. Now, Polycam has been around for a while. It's allowed you to capture 3D scenes. They've now added Gaussian splatting as one of their features. So if you want to go and play with it, now you can create your own Gaussian splatting scenes, which is amazing. Even a few weeks ago, I wouldn't even know how to have done this, but now an app can do it for you. But also, if you're interested in just having a play, so for instance, these scenes you're seeing in front of you, you can just go onto the website, the Polycam website, and play with them yourself real time in a browser, and just see how quick they are, basically. So there you go, Gaussian splatting in Polycam. ChatGPT is about to get a bit of a boost. So there's some demos out there already. Some people have already got access to this. And this is ChatGPT 4V. Now it has really there's one really big main feature, which is the way it can interpret images. And what you're seeing on the left-hand side here is somebody who's just showing ChatGPT an image of a dashboard, like basically an analytics dashboard, and basically saying, could you just render me the code for this and make one for me? And that's exactly what it's doing. It's looking at the dashboard, seeing how to make it, interpreting all the data, and then creating the code to create a very similar dashboard. So it can do all of that good stuff. There's lots of other things it can do as well, but it's also got audio involved in the trick as well. So you can now speak to it and have a live speech, but also you can actually interpret sounds as well. So it really is, if you heard a phrase called multimodal, it really is turning multimodal. So it can do many modes of interaction. Also, I thought it was really interesting on the right hand side, you can see it, you can actually ask it to explain why an image is funny. So, computers, who'd have thought, can now explain to humans why something is funny. This is really interesting development. So this is Indonesia. The government in Indonesia have banned social shopping. So this is shops on social media such as TikTok, Instagram, etc. Now, they're doing this primarily to protect their local traders, who are seeing quite a big drop when you've got big companies, big Chinese companies like TikTok, who are then taking, for instance, clothes or whatever, sales away from local people. So that's been banned. So I thought it was really interesting. This could really be a sign of things to come when, is this the start of the fight back against sort of local trading, especially on the back of things like AI, where people are sort of fearing for their jobs as well. So an entire government, an entire country has banned social shopping. That doesn't mean you can't buy things online. It just means the shops that are embedded in social media, which are so rife and also sort of very popular, have been banned. There you go. There's a really interesting interview with Mark Zuckerberg. This is by Lex Fridman, and you've possibly seen something like this in the Apple headset launch, and this is a realistic avatar. So Mark Zuckerberg has been, let's just say, ridiculed for his slightly weird avatars and funny legs and arms and all that sort of weird stuff. But this is now using super realistic avatars. Now you have to go away and be scanned. Apparently that's quite a task to do. But once you have been scanned in high res, you can then see this kind of resolution of avatar. So what they call this codec avatars. And it's really about, once you've got the scan, all you're really doing is you're sending the data to manipulate that avatar. So you're not really sending video, you're just sending the difference data along the stream. So this avatar was, this interview with the avatars was actually, talking about the technology as well. So it's well worth a look. It's probably more in depth than you'd probably got from the Apple launch a couple of months ago. So there you go. It was quite interesting. So Mark Zuckerberg does actually come across as an actual human in it. So clearly that's quite useful. And finally, we have Posture Pal. Now, this has been out for about a year, and it's taken, I think, sort of Eastern app stores by storm, and now we're coming over to the Western world. This is Posture Pal, so it works on your Mac or on your iPhone. So it works in conjunction with AirPods. So you have to have, I think, Gen 3 or AirPod Pros. Some Beats, I think it works with as well. Essentially, you put your earphones in, you connect the app, and it will then tell you if your posture is bad just by sort of sensing the basic accelerometers. There you go. And if your posture is bad, then one of the creatures which you can select, there's a sort of a monkey and as a llama and as a giraffe, for instance, one of those creatures will either appear on the app or appear on your desktop and tell you to sit up straight. There you go. So it's available now on the App Store of your choice. Hopefully that was useful. If that was interesting, then please do subscribe, maybe send it to somebody amazing, and I'll speak to you again next week.